Hey, this is Robert Downey Jr. Well, the other Robert Downey Jr., aka Daniel, aka RDJ. And we're here outside the Canadian Consulate on the Avenue of the Americas here in Manhattan. And we're going to talk a little hip-hop karaoke, talk about the championship, talk about where I'm from and what I'm all about, and what you can expect from me. And then when we're done, I'm going to head on inside and see if I can talk to my people about, giving me some federal funding to prepare for this championship. Because, I'm going to need mad lozenges, I'm going to need bottled water, some voice training, and probably some massage work as well to keep myself loose. Yeah, well, how I found hip-hop is, I guess hip-hop had to find me. I grew up in Vancouver, BC, Canada, which didn't really have a hip-hop scene of its own until, the mid to late 90s. So hip-hop was an imported commodity. I first became aware of it through like the Fat Boys, their Wipeout tune. And then Run DMC and Aerosmith was a big watershed moment. And I went up and bought Raising Hell. It felt like it felt like tourism for me. I was kind of getting a window into another culture and another reality. So I never really let myself get too acquainted with it, but it kept coming back, and I had this sampler called Street Jams Hip Hop from the Top, some LL Cool J, some BDP, and just all the different styles and voice. Like, it just was a whole new world for me, and and then I lived with a dude who got me into like street rap, Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, and that, when I really listened to it for the first time at around age 19, blew my mind. The level of skill and innovation in both the beats and the rhymes. So the story of how I found hip-hop karaoke was, I had just moved to New York, lifelong dream come true, and I was starting grad school in musical theater writing. And I was reading the Village Voice and I saw this listing. I think it was in one of their voice choices, and it said hip-hop karaoke, a stage, a microphone, a hype man, and a DJ. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This actually exists? And I actually knew it was going to be totally dope. Like, because if I could have created an event in my mind that would have been just perfect for me, it would have been that. I mean, to my delight, it was everything I was looking for and more. I got there and walked in the door, and it was just a diverse crowd of people, I went to the sign-up table, and the guy's like, hey man, you look like Robert Downey Jr. And I said, hey, I want to do a De La Soul song. He put me down as Robert Downey Jr., and the name stuck ever since. I've been getting that ever since I was 15 years old, ever since I went to a summer camp in Michigan. A bunch of the kids I was there with were like, man, you look exactly like that dude. And then when I got back to Vancouver, all of a sudden everyone was saying that to me. Total strangers on the street, people I knew, people I didn't know, and it's been with me ever since, like literally. And I'm not exaggerating here. I know it may sound like I'm just exaggerating this, but I would say that on average, 4 times a week, I have someone start like talking to me, say, has anyone ever told you, and by now I know how to finish the sentence. I'm like, yes. Yes, they have. So yeah, the championship coming up January 25th. I've told everybody about it. My grandparents to fly out and come see this. I'd have anyone there. And I told my grandmother about it, and she was so excited for me. She watches all my YouTube videos. She loves it. My folks actually came to hip hop karaoke when they were in town earlier this year, and they didn't understand a word they said. And my mom wanted to know if the bass needed to be quite so loud. I said that I would ask hip-hop for her if that was a necessity. I'm under no illusions that this is going to somehow be easy for me. I do think I've got some things going for me, and I'm just going to try and play to my own strengths, And I'm not going to give away my song choices, but let's say you're going to get to see my raw, brute energy and volume and like total willingness to make a complete ass of myself. You're also going to see my ability to morph my voice and impersonate different rappers and change my flow up, and I've got a lot of stamina, so that's going to be on display. I'm going to bring a theatrical flair, you know. I'm going to bring a sense of the absurd. I think what I'm going to bring is just being myself, and hopefully that'll carry the day. I plan to do it, and I'm going to give it everything I got, leave everything on the stage, and hopefully walk away with the championship.